What's going on, beautiful Jellyfish? It's Tracy. Today we're going to be talking about M19 stuff. I am so excited to do this series because I'm so happy that core sets are back. There's a lot of really solid stuff in the set. Basically how I do these videos, I organize them by color, obviously, and I talk about them with a limited mindset. I'm talking about these cards if you're drafting the set or if you're doing sealed. Not talking about any other angles pretty much with these cards. And yeah, so there's a lot of really awesome stuff in this. I'm very excited to see that these are back. I think white is bomb.com. I've kind of gotten like bits and pieces and spoilers and stuff, and I've seen them, but like I've just individually going through the card and looking at literally every single card and reading all of them. I think this is just such a solid color. There's so many cool things going on in the set. So let's get started. So the first card I want to talk about is called Angel of the Dawn. So first off, woo, angels, yay, exciting. So it's a 5-mana 3/3 flyer, which is pretty cool. ATBs, creatures you control get +1/+1 and vigilance until end of turn. Okay, this is a busted common. Oh my gosh. And what's really sweet too is that these cards are going to be floating around the table if you're drafting them because it's a common, which is sweet. Okay, so first off, this card can just close out the game in and of itself. But then if it doesn't, if giving your whole team +1/+1 and vigilance isn't enough, you still are left with the 3/3 flyer, which is amazing. This card is just all around fantastic. I think this is super busted as a common. Art is beautiful. I think this card's great. Okay, the next card is Dwarven Priest. I think this is another really sweet common. It enters the battlefield, you gain 1 life for each creature you control. This is not like, oh my gosh, busted, best card ever, but it's really sweet. I think the whole, like, there's quite a bit of, like, token gen, I would say, in this set, and, like, white has a lot of really solid stuff. And just pumping out a lot of, like, cheap creatures or, like, solid creatures. This is really good in late stages of the game. I think this is one of the best game life engines in white. Even if you're not doing that archetype, like the game life archetype, I still think this is a really sweet card. And also it's like a 2/4, which is great. Okay, the next card is Gallant Cavalry. This card is really fantastic. Really excited to see that Knights are back. So it's a 4-mana 2/2 vigilance, and then you make a 2/2 knight with vigilance. So I like this card for a lot of different reasons. I like it because of the token stuff I was talking about earlier that you want, you know, you want to go wide on your board, I would say, and having multiple creatures is really good. Like sometimes like having a, like if you just have like a 4/4 vigilance with this card, because that's pretty much what it is. It's like 4 power, 4 toughness, and they all have vigilance, but they just split it into 2 parts. You have 2 2/2s. I think just having multiple creatures, though, is, like, a huge thing, rather than having one thing, because then if we have a kill spell, they just, like, kill your 4/4, and they're like, okay, cool. But, like, now it's, like, you have 2 creatures for the price of 1, if that makes sense. I think this card is really sweet. I like it a lot. And also, vigilance is really important, and I really like that mechanic a lot. I think for limited particularly, it's really good. Okay, then we have Knight of the Tusk. This card is, like, just hard to kill. It's a 3/7 with vigilance for 6 mana. I just think this card's like really sweet. Like just swinging, like there's no reason pretty much not to swing it with this turn. If your opponent wants to block, it's like, you know, they're trying to do all weird sorts of stuff to block, and then if you have a pump spell or like whatever the situation may be, and then just think if this card gets a buff by any means, you're just giving it more toughness. Like it's just so hard to get off the table. Like, God, this card is sweet. Then we have Luminous Bonds. Every set is just gonna have, like, the pacifism, I would say. I think, like, that is a really important thing to have. It's just 3 mana, it can't attack or block. This is just great. You're gonna see a ton of them, especially at the common level. I really like that. I feel like recently a lot more removal has been coming to the common level, which I feel like I've noticed, and I think it's just so important, giving more people access to them, and the chance that they're gonna open them up in a sealed pool or more is gonna be flying around the table in draft, I think is really important. This card is just really amazing. I would definitely, if you're drafting, pick up like a ton of these. It's removal and you need it. Okay, the next card is Pegasus Courser. This card has definitely been printed again. This is definitely a reprint. I feel like from another M set. And I remember drafting with this card, and this mechanic in and of itself, when it attacks, target creature gains flying. I remember this, and it just, that ability doesn't look to be super fancy, but honestly, I can't even tell you how many games I play Unlimited that come down to who has more flyers. And something like this, just being able to give your big dude that's super awesome, and you're like, this card is so great, it'd be even better if I could just have evasion and have flying. This card gives you flying, and it's also just a 1/3. I would really not pass up on cards like this. This is a really solid card. I like it a lot. Okay, the next card is Star Crowned Stag. It's an elk. This art is beautiful. Can we just say this reminds me of my favorite art in Magic is like this card called Sarah's Blessing, which is beautiful. It's Rebecca Guai, and it is like amazing, and it's like this winter scene, and this reminds me of that. Look it up. The card is divine. It's my favorite art in the game. Okay, so we have 4 mana for a 3/3. When it attacks, tap target creature defending player's controls. Okay, so this is kind of reminds me of the flying card that we literally just talked about, where when this attacks, you get something. Again, don't fly by this card and be like, this card's like medium. Card is really solid. Being able to tap down their thing that has vigilance, for example, their 3/7, the card we talked about earlier, like just being able to tap something is really, really good. I like this card a lot. Okay, then we have Take Vengeance. This is such a solid removal card, again at the common slot. I just really want to make note of that. It is destroy target tap creature. There is quite a bit of vigilance, but you're still going to be able to get rid of something pretty threatening, I would say. This is a great card. And it's only 2 mana, like that's amazing. Okay, then we have Ajani's Pridemate. I've always really liked this card, and one thing I really, really like about this thing is it's not until end of turn. So, like, if whenever you gain life, you just get a counter on it, and then it just stays there. So this has the potential to get, like, really big. And again, even if you're not doing tons of life gain or anything like that, this card is really sweet. Getting to the state of the game where you can make this card just really big and really threatening. Ajani's Pridemate, I really like it. Alright, next card is Herald of Faith. This is sweet. I love this card. It's 5 mana for a 4/3 flyer. That's amazing. And then whenever it attacks, you gain 2 life. One of the best gain life ways in white, I would say. I really, really like this card a lot. And then also too, it's just a nice body. It's a 4/3 and it's got flying. Yes, love it. Card's great. Okay, then we have Hieromancer's Cage. Okay, this is again like another kind of pacifism, but it gets exiled. So the other one is just it can't attack or block. But this one gets exiled until it leaves the battlefield, and it's 4 mana. This card's just really good. It's just removal. You need it. Card's great. There's not really a lot to say about that. Okay, all these angels. Oh, this is so great. Okay, we have Resplendent Angel. Okay. I think a lot of people are going to see this card and not be majorly impressed, but hear me out on this. It's a 3 mana 3/3 flyer. Love that. Okay. At the beginning of each end, said if you gain 5 or more life, you create a 4/4 angel token with flying and vigilance. That in and of itself is literally just amazing. The thing is I think some people are going to look at this and be like, well, if you don't do a lot of life gain, you're not really getting the full effect out of this card. And I will agree with you, you're not, you know, squeezing every ounce of amazingness of this card if you're not doing a ton of life gain. However, this is still a really solid card. Like, say you open this in sealed and you just don't have a lot of other life gain cards, I would not just pass on this card if the rest of your whites are really solid. And then for 6 mana, this card gains +2/+2 as lifelink. Now, this is a lot of mana, I would say. However, you just pay 6 mana to give this a buff. It gets lifelink so that it becomes a 5/5. So now you get that 5 life, and then if you gain 5 life, you get a token. So it is, in turn, a lot of mana for what it is. However, what I really like about this is I think this is a really sweet mid-range card, because you can play this card on like turn 3, you still have a 3/3 flyer. If they don't have any flyers, you can get in with some points of damage, which is really cool. But in late stages of the game, when you're like, I'm trying to push past, but they have like a wall of flyers, I can't really get around this, and you just have a like mana, you can pump this guy and make it a 5/5. Yes, it's a lot of mana, but honestly, I think you're going to find a lot if you play limited. Like, there's times where you just have nothing else to do with your mana, and a card like this is really nice to have on hand. I really like this card a lot. Okay, one of my faves, Lena, Selfless Champion. Ah, she's sweet. I love her. Okay, so she ETBs, and you get a 1/1 soldier creature token for each non-token creature you control. This is amazing. Like, you have just dudes, and then you just get them. I'm really glad that it does say non-token, because that would be busted. So you just get as many, you know, of those as you have creatures, which is sweet. And then you can sack her, and creatures with power less than it gain indestructible until end of turn. She's amazing. She's just such a great thing. I really love that she just can create like a ton of tokens. She's kind of a lot of mana for what she is, but I really like the blast ability too. If you just sack, this is really good offensively or defensively, which I really like. And you don't have to tap her, so you can use her ability and say you want to attack right away or something like that. You can just like sack her, which I think is super cool. Card's great. Okay, then we have Leonin Warleader. Oh, cats. Meow. So excited. Okay, so 4 mana for a 4/4. When it attacks, this card is just amazing. When it attacks, you create 2 dudes that are tapped and attacking. What? What? This card's busted. Oh my god, this card's so sweet. So it's 4 mana for 4/4, and then whenever it attacks, you just get 2 1/1s. What? And they've got lifelink. Hello, this card's amazing. Oh, one of my favorite cards in white. I think it's sweet. Okay, this card reminds me a little bit of the Angel. The Angel we just talked about, that 3/3. We have Valiant Knight. So it's 4 mana for a 3/4. Other knights get +1/+1. And then for 5 mana, knights you control gain double strike until end of turn. Now, here's the deal. This card, again, is going to be used to the best effect of knights. Like, if you have just a ton of knights, this is great, because not only do your knights get a buff, you can pay 5 mana to give them double strike. Again, late stages of the game. You have nothing else to do with your mana. You're like, dump the mana into this, make all my dudes super huge. Oh, love it. But one thing I will note, again, if you don't have that much Knight synergy, I still think this card is really sweet, because this card can potentially gain double strike. Again, it's a lot of mana, but I think that Knights are going to be a really sweet mechanic or sweet archetype in this set. Pretty excited about that. Okay, Cleansing Nova. There's not a whole lot to say in this, but I always get really excited whenever, A, there's new board wipes, and 2, there's board wipes in Limited. I've always found that, like, my answer to everything is just, like, board wipes. Like, I'm like, the queen of that. Whenever my friends play EDH, they're always like, cool, Tracy's gonna have board wipe. Like, it's just who I am. That's what I like to do. So, I really like this card. It has the option. Now, more oftentimes than not in Limited, you're gonna be destroying all creatures. Like, I can't really see you typically doing the other ability, but hey, I don't know, it may happen. And it's 5 mana for this ability. This card's just really sweet. Also, I know we're not really talking about other formats, but I think this is a great EDH card too. Card's great. Okay, then we have Mentor of the Meek. Really excited to see this card being reprinted. I think there's going to be a ton of value to get out of the set. We talked about a couple of cards that are, you know, have a power 2 or less that do some really sweet things in the set. And it's card draw. So whenever another creature, keep in mind too, it says creature, it's not non-token. So if you have tokens entering, you can do that. You may pay 1 to draw a card. Mentor of the Meek is a great card. I really like this card a lot. Card is Ajani. You know, like, his ult, I feel like, is really not, like, the most... I feel like with Planeswalker ults, we're so spoiled. Like, when you ult a Planeswalker, you're like, this is game over! Like, I don't really feel like that about Ajani. However, I do think in Limited he is really sweet. It's not to say that I don't like him, I just feel like... I feel like when you ult a Planeswalker, it should feel like the game is going to be over, especially in Limited. I don't really have those feelings about him yet. However, that being said, I still do really like this card. So, 4 mana for 4 loyalty. I like that. You put a +1/+1 counter on each up to 2 target creatures. Sweet. I think that's really awesome. I like that a lot. His minus, you return target creature with converted mana cost 2 or less from your graveyard to the battlefield. Again, there's some pretty sweet things with CMC 2 or less. And then his emblem, at the beginning of your end step, you create 3 dudes with lifelink. Again, it's not to say that it's not amazing, and I'm sure this is gonna, like, close out the game. I feel like it's just not gonna close it out immediately. Am I making sense right now? With that being said, I still do like Ajani. I'm still, like, yeah, I would say you know, if there's nothing else reasonable in the pack, I'm pretty sure you'd still pack one, pick one this. I'm just not like over the moon about him, like, you know, I think he's just gonna close the game out immediately. So that is it, guys. That is it for white. Definitely stay tuned with me through the end of the series. I do all the colors, and then my last video I do multicolored lands artifacts. I do kind of like a whole thing in one, which is always, like, to me, my most favorite video. I love talking about the multicolored cards in particular. So that is it. I really hope this video was helpful. I'd really like to know what cards that you guys are really excited about in this set and cards that you hope to open. Yeah, I feel like I need to see when this set comes out. I think it's not this week. I think it's the following week is the pre-release, which is a little weird how they did spoilers. I feel like it was all just bleh, spoilers. Like, I don't really know where things came from. It kind of just felt like all of a sudden there were spoilers. I really want to go to the pre-release sealed event with this. I'm not a huge fan of the sealed, but I do really like, I think there's like a lot of really cool things in this set, so hopefully it'll be really fun to draft. I think Wizards has just been honestly killing it as of late. I think there have just been some really awesome stuff. I think the limited has just been so great. Dominaria, they did a great job with. Like, I just think everything has just been going, you know, in a really great direction. And then we're going back to Ravnica. Like, I'm so excited. So that is it. I will see you guys tomorrow, where we talk about the next color. Blue, is that the next color? I still don't know the color order of Magic. Is that bad? I should know, but I'll see you guys tomorrow. Bye.